Okay guys, we are going to go through the activity we did on 15th of December, Tuesday before Christmas. This was all about typographic communication, and the task was to make a set of postcards using different quotes or pieces of text and trying to emphasise the type through placement and effect. So I've just got the activity handout that's on Moodle. Tells us our aims, tells us our objectives. Now, the process of this is obviously to go through and come up with some initial layouts and ideas for the quotes in rough thumbnail form before going on screen. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to be showing you how to work with Illustrator. In terms of the size, it says here what we're going to be working with. Postcard size of 110 by 160, and basically outlines here that you need to think about readability, placement, size within the format. We've got a list of quotes here. Now, you are free to use any of your own. For the sake of this, I'm just going to take this one, the United We Stand, divided we fall. I'm just going to copy it directly from there. Okay, so let's go into Illustrator. Now we're going to be going to File, New Document, and we know that our size is 110 by 160, 110 by 160 mil. I'm going to leave it portrait. We want 3 artboards, and we want to put a bleed of 3 mil on there. This symbol over here, well, that's grayed in. That means that it will make all the settings the same. If I unlink to that, I could change the individual bleed size, but I'll just leave it as is. Just click OK, and you'll see our 3 artboards. You just click on each one, and the red mark around the outside is our bleed area. Now, just to remind you, a bleed is when you have any colour or image or anything graphic that's going to go up to the edge needs to go over, and the bleed area will be printed. You just have that so that when you come to cutting along this line, the cropping out, you won't have any issues with any white banding appearing where you haven't got it across the line completely. So we always put a bleed on anything that will go right up to the edge. Okay, before we get started, a couple of other things we need to do. First of all, we need to go into our Illustrator Preferences and into General. We want to turn on Scale, Strokes and Effects. We want to make sure that our units are in mil for General. That's our rulers and any objects. Stroke and type we leave as points, and then I want to go down to the grids and guides, and I want to make it 25 mil grid line and divide that by 5, so that when I go and put the grid on, we'll have big boxes of 25 that are broken up into 5s, meaning that you've got individual 5 mil boxes. A couple of other things before we get started. We want to get our rulers up, so we go to View, Rulers, Show Rulers, or Command R, and it's Control R if you're using a PC, and then we want to get our grid up, View, Show Grid, which is Command and quote marks, again Control if you're using a PC. So you can see here our box of 25 mil each, and then divided into 5, and because we've got 110 by 160, it all fits in nicely. Your ruler mark will always start up in the 0, 0 or of the rulers and the top left hand corner, but you'll notice when we go into the other one, the next artboard, it'll jump with it. It's not exactly accurate, so if you are working on the second one, you just go to where the rulers meet and you drag it in and go there. Okay, so I'm just going to put it back to here. The space in between the artboards as well also means that it's not going to fit in with the grid lines. So if you go back to Document Setup, you can edit into artboards. You can edit the placement of where each one is by selecting the artboard, and on the X, Y origin So you can see it's 178.6. If we just put that up to a round number of 180, it'll jump. Okay, and likewise down here, artboards 3 is starting on a y-axis that's not accurate. So if we just go 255, it'll all jump completely.